3326 finally got its own flip handheld, the Coolhax RS16. Specs: 3.5-inch IPS, 640 by 480 resolution, 3326 chip, 1 GBR AM, 256 GB max storage, 3000 mAh battery, 4 to 6 hours life. Let's open the box and examine its contents. First, the console itself, then a warranty card with a manual, a storage pouch, and a data cable. The packaging is also very simple. So let's take a look at the main body of the machine itself. What do you all think of the overall appearance of this unit? First, let's go ahead and check out the weight of this particular machine. 180 grams. It's very lightweight. Then, comparing its size to the 35X XSP, you can clearly see that it's noticeably smaller than the 35X XSP. This has a mecha-style design, and the overall aesthetic appeal is really quite high. At the bottom, there's a Type C port, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and on the left, a single TF card slot. Power, restart, volume up and down on the right, 4 shoulder buttons on top. They're a little stiff, and I feel the shoulder buttons are a bit too flat. And this hinge, it actually rotates a full 180 degrees, directly transforming it into a vertical handheld device. And what's more, it has stepless suspension. For example, I can place it here, and it will hover. The same applies here. Keep pushing it, it can hold its position anywhere. So if you're just gaming casually, you'd likely play at this specific angle, or simply switch over to the vertical screen orientation for an easier experience. Let's check the buttons. The D-pad and ABXY use conductive rubber. They feel great. The 3 function keys are tactile switches. Down below there are 2 joysticks with ambient lighting, and they're clickable. The base panel also features this cool mecha style, giving it a really great overall aesthetic. Alright, let's power it on and take a look. ARKOS. And as you can see, the ambient lighting is incredibly vibrant. It really gives off that authentic 80s nightclub atmosphere. Wow, this ambient lighting is for real. The visual effects are absolutely stunning. However, we can also turn off this light, so everyone doesn't need to worry about this. If you feel it has any impact, you can turn it off at any time. First, settings for turning off lights. Since it's a 3326, this device also supports overclocking up to 1.5 GHz. And this one isn't running ARKOs, it's the EE 4.7 system. Honestly, the EE 4.7 system is quite impressive, performing very well for Java imported games. Honestly, the aesthetics are really great. This device is quite compact and it has all the necessary buttons. It just feels really good, doesn't it? After all, it's a flip-top handheld gaming device, isn't it? There aren't many flip-top devices available in the market. The 3326 model is quite mature, having been refined to a near-perfect state. Let's just fire up a few games and try it out. First, GBA games. As you can see, it has an IPS screen with perfect viewing angles. The display is consistent even when viewed from the side, and the screen brightness is perfectly normal with absolutely no flickering. Everyone, take a look at the font here. It's still displayed with incredible clarity and sharpness. Let's check out some NDS games. For NDS, you absolutely have to turn off the high-definition 3D graphics, otherwise it's going to be quite a bit laggy. It's a huge improvement after turning that off. The performance is incredibly smooth now. This machine's screen is incredibly bright. Even at 80%, it's super luminous, often causing my videos to be overexposed. Let's just lower it a little bit. Setting it to 40% should be sufficient. Allow me to show you some of the ported games. Currently, it effortlessly runs most of these ported titles, such as this version of CS 1.6. This machine has no Wi-Fi. An external wireless network card is needed. Now, let's take a look at another ported game, Brotato. It's running quite smoothly on this device. With the 3326, you'll probably only get through the first few levels before it lags. Now, let's take a look at MD games. Running at 60 frames per second, it's incredibly smooth. For PSP, I'll just pick out a few playable games to demonstrate for you all. And as for games like God of War, there's really no need to demonstrate them. It simply can't handle running those. There are quite a number of games, such as Ultraman Fighting Evolution, that can run at nearly full frame rates, especially since the PSP's game library is rather extensive. I'd estimate that about 60 to 70% of PSP games can run at full frame rate, that is, at 1x resolution. They can achieve full frame rate. Dynasty Warriors 5, since it was natively 30 frames per second, runs at full frame rate on this as well. I can only say that the 3326 is currently a pretty suitable and affordable gaming console option. It can handle PSP platform games, and playing them is very smooth. For arcade games, let's try out Street Fighter 3. The screen brightness is truly high on this device. Even at 40%, it's still incredibly clear, as you can see. If you're playing indoors, 40 or 50% is more than enough. Street Fighter 3, as you can plainly see, is also running at a completely smooth, full frame rate. P.S. 1 games can also be played with seamless performance. However, as there are no PS1 games pre-installed on this particular card, I won't be able to provide a demonstration of those at this moment. Let me demonstrate another ported game as they're really popular right now. Let's check out a pure white screen. The display is very uniform, with no light leakage or white spots whatsoever. It's perfectly even. Now let's take a look at Lost Revenge. It plays pretty well, with a slight stutter at the very beginning, but it runs smoothly afterward. So to sum it up, as you're all probably aware, there's not much left to say about this 3326 machine. Its primary selling points remain its flip-top design, its appealing aesthetics, and, of course, its impressive screen brightness. In other aspects, the specs are pretty much the same as other 3326 devices. So if you appreciate this aesthetic, you might want to give it some thought. Or for those of you who favor the flip-top design, it's definitely worth considering, as this is one of the rare flip-top handhelds that allows for convenient customization and tinkering.